everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm going to be doing a suds test of a few of the soaps that I've made recently. The pine tar, which just is wonderful. It has a terrific scent with the tea tree in it that just makes it, I don't know, somehow it just feels like home to me. And this has been such a great seller. I've had to remake this 3 times in as many months, so it's a very popular soap. This is the Genteel Soap that you saw me make recently. This one is just delicious as well. I'm partial to all the soaps, I suppose. I don't know that I've made a soap that I don't enjoy. This one has more of an interesting story. This is the Bitsy Soap that I made recently. It's made with goat tallow and goat milk. And one person, before these were ever cured, one person came in and bought all of them, with the exception I had 3 that had dents and bangs in them that I had set aside. But I sold the rest of them to them. They actually bought them before they cured so that they could cure them at home and use them themselves. They wanted them all, which I don't like to sell soaps before they're ready, but if someone has the knowledge to set them on a shelf and leave them alone for that amount of time, we're all adults. I don't mind allowing that. Anyway, so I'm doing a suds test on it anyway because I want to show you what a 100% tallow soap does. Because maybe some people have considered making them or have made them before and already know this, but maybe you're a consumer who is interested in tallow soap and how a 100% tallow soap may react and suds, that sort of thing. So I thought I would do an example for you. I'm going to do the pine tar last because it will darken the water and we don't necessarily want that. So I'm actually going to start, because I know this one won't suds up the water too much. 100% tallow is not bubbly the way you might think. It is a much more gentle kind. I'm not going to say it doesn't bubble. You'll see here in a moment. But it is a very gentle soap. That's why a lot of baby soaps, or those made for people with sensitive skin, are made with tallows, whether it be goat or beef or even lard. Although there are people that have pork allergies or beef allergies, they can't use either of them. But for those that can, these are the type of soaps that they may like, that they will use. So before I do a suds test, I like to let the soap take in some water first, because when the soap is sitting cured, it kind of has a coating on the outside. But I want you to get the full, matter of fact, let me pull back my sleeves a bit here. I want you to get the full effect of what this soap is. Again, this is goat tallow from my dear Bitsy and goat milk from her as well. So immediately you're going to notice where the suds. Here, I'll even add more water here and try to stir them up a bit. There are a few bubbles there in the water, but this is a very small bubble soap. You will not get the big lather that you do from some other types of soap. It's very gentle on the skin. It is cleansing, but even on the cleansing scale, if you do a 100% tallow through a calculator, you'll show that it's very low in cleansing. That's the gentleness of it. That also means it doesn't strip your skin. It is a very, very mild, gentle soap. Very nice for those with very sensitive skin or babies. Just one for you to consider. I'm going to actually have to remake because I don't have it in stock because of that purchase. The next 2 that I'm going to test for you, I do have in stock and are in the store. This is the Genteel. I just love the color variations in it. I think it's just lovely. It does have a different texture than a lot of my soaps do, and that's because of the colloidal oats that I added. It is not rough on the skin at all. That's not what I'm suggesting, but the soap texture is just different. It's not that kind of glassy smooth like this one here. It is a more of a bumpy kind of texture, but I don't mind that. And look at the bubble you get from this. Unlike the 100% tallow, because this has coconut oil in it, it bubbles up very, very nicely, and it smells wonderful. That's really nice coming up off that water. It really smells nice. And here you'll see we get all the suds that we were missing in our tallow soap. Isn't that nice? I wanted you to see that variation between the 100% tallow soap and a soap that has other oils in it. That's just the name. Now you could add, if you wanted a tallow soap to be bubblier, you could add honey, or you could add sugar, there are different things you can do. That soap was only intended to be a 2-ingredient soap, so that's what it was. All right, this is a bar of the pine tar. This is one that cut a little crooked, so it's always a good sample that anyone that's damaged, I use whatever I get. Now, a soap like this, you may wonder, what do you do with all of these after you do a suds test on them? Well, oftentimes they will go into the garden or around the foundation of my house. They do help to deter different types of vermin, whether that be rats and mice, which the chickens tend to take care of, but also it deters some of the larger rodents like raccoons and possums and skunks, and we even have armadillos here, but I don't like to discourage them. I think they're really cool. All right, so that's, as you can see, this one does suds up very nice. This is the pine tar. A wonderful soap for those that have specific skin conditions. That's my understanding, and I like using it as a shampoo bar because I do tend to have a drier scalp. I have wavy, kind of curly, old gray hair, as you've seen, and this kind of soap is very nice, gives a nice medicinal treatment to the scalp. All right, so there you've seen those three. These were all enjoyable for me to make. I just love making soap. I haven't had as much opportunity recently. What I haven't shared with you all, I mentioned in a video that I was sick. Well, when I say, or wasn't feeling well. But I didn't clarify. I don't have any, it's not like a disease or something. I'm not sick that way. I was just depressed. Depression is something that many of us deal with, and the state of the world sometimes certainly can have an effect on that, can't it? The recent event in Washington, D.C., I'm sure was, even for those of you out of the United States, I'm sure that was quite a difficult thing to see. Wherever you fall politically, it's always sad to see violence. Do I think there is a place for violence sometimes in the world? I would like to think not, but I understand that sometimes extreme measures have to be taken. I just didn't feel this was one of those times when it was necessary, but there are people I'm sure that would argue with that point. But I'm not here to argue, but I am here to say that it did affect me. And I was already in a depression when that happened, so that sure didn't help. And for any of you that may have affected, just know this is a friendly place you can come. If anyone, I've got to bring this up. Someone called me a snowflake recently. I deleted their comment because it had some foul language in it as well, and it was actually in my hidden comments because the language they use, so none of you would have seen it. I went and deleted it. But the person called me a name and said I was a snowflake because I was too sensitive to various things. And I've heard this term used for others before that perhaps are very sensitive, called snowflakes. But what I'd like to say in regard to that is, well, the entire continent of Antarctica, yep, it's a continent, is made from snowflakes. And very, 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 very deep snowflakes. And some of those snowflakes are hundreds of thousands of years old, packed, and packed. up, down. So they're very strong. They hold up the entire continent. They hold up, give homes to many animals of the Antarctic. I'm rambling here, but if someone gives you an insult, find a way to turn it around. If someone calls you a name, find the strength in that. I was called names as a kid, and to still be called names to this day does it hurt a little? Of course it does. None of us are made of steel. Harsh words hurt, but I've learned to deflect some of those things over the years and not let it affect me permanently. If someone calls me old or fat or gray or whatever kind of comment toward me, I try to embrace that. What are you going to do? You can't please every single person. And here Patrick goes on another ramble. I do apologize, everyone. That's never my intention when I start a video, I promise you. But it just happens. But snowflake or not, I will gather with any other snowflakes out there and we'll build a snowball. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.